Good evening and welcome to the program Africa Today. You are watching NBC, your number one Africa TV station, right on 43.2. The program comes to you every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. and then we have a repeat broadcast on Mondays at 10:30 a.m. This program sets out to discuss issues affecting the African continent. And the headlines today: Al-Shabaab strikes again in Somalia. And according to Save the Children's annual report, Africa has got the highest rate of first aid deaths in babies. And we will go to Afghanistan. And while we're going to Afghanistan, I'll let you have the full details. We have Godwin Agbuka. Last week, Godwin wasn't with us, but he's here today. Welcome, Godwin.
Thank you.
How you been?
Good. Surviving, right?
Great. And we have Funsho Olamigoke. Thank you for joining us also, Funsho.
Good to be here.
Let's start with Al-Shabaab. They striked again in Somalia, where over 10 people are reported dead and scores more injured. They had a suicide attacker who drove into a government envoy with a truck loaded with ammunition. Are you surprised with this?
Surprised? Nothing will surprise me about this. Not just Somalia now, Somalia, Afghanistan, Iraq, the rest of them, in fact, including Nigeria. Nothing should surprise us anymore because these are people, like you rightly said, people that are ready to die. You can go to war with people like that.
For their cause. For what they believe in.
But what is this? What is the sense in dying for your cause? Incidentally, Kasai said something just this week about suicide bombers. And that will amaze you because according to him, and I think he should know, those kids, they'll strap them with bombs, they'll wear them a jacket that is laid with bombs, and then they'll tell them to go, and someone will come maybe like 20 feet behind them, and when they get to the target, they detonate.
Yeah.
Saying that the individual that is a suicide bomber at the end of the day didn't even know in the first place that he was going to die.
Now I don't
It's
know.
news.
You think they don't tell them that this is the end of what you're going to do?
I'm quoting Kasai. If you want me to read it out in his words, I will. So what I'm saying in essence is, for a people like that, you cannot, because it should be crazy to want to do anything like that. And he says that Islam is a religion of peace. There's absolutely no way, whether it's Boko Haram or any of those Al-Shabaab or whatever, that there's absolutely no way. They should stop talking about Islam. That Islam does not believe in what they're doing.
In the killing.
And so for them to be doing it, it means they are crazy. And if they are, funny enough, the individual that they target in Somalia was not even in the vehicle. The vehicle is bulletproof, bomb-proof. They did what they had to do, and the people went away without being hurt. So the minister himself was not internal or interior minister, was not even there.
And innocent folks just died.
Innocent people just died. 11 souls just.
And many more injured.
It's sad, really. It's sad.
Godwin, let's take your comments on this. I know it's not the first, and it's not going to be the last, unfortunately. Yeah, and like Funsho said, you are sent out to carry these ammunitions on you, or these explosives on you. But there's someone behind you who's got the power and the control, and you've not been informed that you are going to die through the process. How these people are managed to pollute the mindset of these innocent people that they pick, the victims that they send out there. And you might think like those behind the scenes, why don't they just go out there and do that themselves?
No, let me say that.
How did they pick these innocent people? And it's always
They
the
brainwash
young folks.
I think
Yeah.
you right.
Brainwash them.
No, I mean, that's a legitimate point. It is, there are levels of these things. There are those who are sent out there to do that, like the kids and all.
Yeah.
And there are people who themselves actually also go out there to do that. So now, Fujo used a term which is brainwashing. These people, it's a process, and these people are indoctrinated from the very beginning. So they indoctrinate them to make them think that, hey, everyone out there is against us. So let's pick up arms and go and do whatever we are doing. I mean, Al-Shabaab, like all other terrorist groups, are militant fundamentalist groups. So what Karzai, for example, said about Islam is crucial, which is Islam is not a religion of violence. It's a religion of peace. But within any community or society or religion, there are spots, people within who will cause some mayhem, which is what these people are doing. The sad situation about this is that the people, again, as Funjo said, who were targeted, foreigners. Foreigners who were targeted were not even harmed in any way. The interior minister was not harmed, but then people ended up, dying. So basically, they brainwash these people, young people. These people usually think that they are martyrs, but they are not. Because there's a difference between martyrs and these fundamentalist groups and all that. So they think they are fighting for a good cause. But then definitely, of course, they're not really fighting for anything. Harm is caused and then problems, do arise.
And for that matter, they also think when they die, even when they know they're going to die, when they die, they believe they are going to Al-Jannah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So they're ready to die. Rather die and go to Al-Jannah than be here. And, it's really sad.
Really but let me quickly mention that last month we talked about this issue. There was a case of the bombing at the court area in the country. So just this past week, they had actually put in place some security measures in Somalia.
That's good.
And just on Saturday,
this happened.
On Saturday, they actually kind of relaxed their security measures, and on Sunday it happened.
Wow.
See how sad.
For security measures, you don't relax on anything. It's rather unfortunate.
It's sad.
So that is on Al-Shabaab viewers striking in Somalia, killing 10 people innocent and injuring scores more. Now let's go over to the annual report by Save the Children. They're saying that Africa's got the highest rate of first day deaths. I read this over and over and over, and I still couldn't accept it or believe it. And the report said that 1 million babies do die the same day that they are born. And I'm like, really? It's very, very unfortunate. And the next question is, why? What is Africa not doing right? Or what is Africa doing that's letting children die million? The same day that you're born, the same day that you die. What are we doing wrong in Africa? I'll start with you, Godwin.
Okay. Before we put the spotlight on Africa, let me say that this report actually is a bigger report. So it actually puts the US and Europe in perspective as well.
We will come to that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that
that is important.
So not to scare our viewers. I think it's important.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying that is
Europe. Okay.
The reason I'm saying that is that obviously, it puts Africa in a negative light. So this is a very important report. Now, the report in itself for me is misleading in some ways. The reason why I'm saying it's misleading is that there are some issues of stillbirth which are also included in that. So in stillbirth, for example, the child comes out and the child is already dead.
Yeah.
So that is included and it makes it so alarming. But it's still an issue. I think that as far as your question is concerned, Africa is concerned, there are many challenges that we have. Access to medical care, prenatal care, access to certain facilities in the country to be able to address some of the specific needs that these babies or infants have when they are born. When a baby is born, the very first day the baby is born is the most dangerous day.
The first 5
The
minutes.
very first day. So if the baby is able to survive beyond that day, 24 hours, obviously the survival rate is so high. So that is what makes it alarming. But of course, the challenges that we have in terms of facilities, in terms of access to medical care, education, part of all these things. Because if you look at issues of obesity and other things that the mothers actually do go through, what happens is that if the mother has certain medical conditions, those conditions are likely to affect the babies. And if the mother doesn't actually get access to prenatal care, they will not be able to know some of the conditions the baby is going through, and by the time they are born, they actually suffer all these challenges and all that. So I think that's why Africans,
We should.
need to be concerned
The
about.
theme is surviving the first day. So like Godwin said, education, a whole lot of issues involved to make sure that, like you rightly said, there are some things that the mother, if with education, you will know that this is something I have to take,
Sure.
go and see your family care provider, but you might just take it for any other thing. And then before you know, you might have the child either stillborn or it's too late. What can we do?
Yeah, well, I agree with virtually everything Godwin said. And where you started, I'm going to buttress some of the things you were going to say, but I didn't really finish saying. But I've been privileged to have seen a number of training movies or videos, we call them training videos, on maternal, newborn, and child care. So let me quickly jump to where you talked about preconditions of the mothers. We're not talking of just the conditions that an expecting mother, a pregnant woman, gets during the prenatal, period. But I'm also talking about issues that an OBGYN wouldn't even bother about, that the mother may already have, So when you look at the fact that in Africa, we do not do most of the things that people in the West do, like whether you are ill or not, you have to go for medical checkup, we have to do we don't do any of those. We drive our car until it breaks down on the road before we think about maintenance. We do the same thing to our babies, and therefore the conditions that our expectant mothers are in is not comparable to what is going on in the West. That's number one. Number two, I'll go to where you started. It is a fact that I don't think they are singling out Africa to give us a bad name, because the report is quite wide. The truth is that in the United States of America,
same report, USA is a riskier place to be born.
Exactly.
And I was like, for real?
And indeed, it says there are counties in America, United States, not continental America, United States of America, there are counties where the data they have is worse than what we have in America, in Africa. So the question is this, and funny I don't remember if I said it here in a different forum. There, a Nigerian lady just in 2012 who had a baby and died. The baby didn't die, but
I remember
the mother
you
died.
saying that right here. Yeah.
In America and here in Houston.
It's right unfortunate.
So it is unfortunate there are conditions, there are preconditions that lead to it. But more than anything else, we do not have access to Medicare back home. Mothers will walk like 2-3 hours to get to the city where they can see a clinic, not even a hospital. And most of them, they don't even have any access. They have their child at home in the village.
So education is
education
the key.
and facilities mainly
and
are
you say with
responsible.
Europe, Finland is the best place to be a mother.
Yeah.
Sure,
All right.
And I wasn't surprised, let me quickly say, I wasn't surprised that they mentioned Finland. And I'll probably think that they will mention some of the other Scandinavian countries.
Especially Sweden.
Yeah,
Sweden is
Sweden,
one of the best.
That's the
in
point. So
everything.
typically those countries actually do much better.
Yeah.
I was sad that I saw Congo as the worst.
The worst.
place.
Are you surprised?
Well,
I was sad. I said
you
I
were
was
sad to
really-
hear
I
that.
was really
But you
sad.
know what? We pray that education will go to educate the women and everybody in the community, that the next report that we have, hopefully the subsequent years, will be something more positive.
Yeah, it would be positive only if, because it's not enough to educate the people. I have been involved in some medical doctors and nurses coming into the United States to train. And then when they get the knowledge and they are going back and they do not have the kind of equipment and facilities that they have seen during their hands-on in America, what are they going to do out
It
there?
doesn't create the balance.
Yeah, yet Africa
right.
has the money, but some people would rather put it in their
Logistics not
pocket,
available.
unfortunately.
All right, so that is on the Save the Children, the annual report. You're still on the program Africa Today. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back with more.